Every year, millions of lonely adolescents and adults seek the opportunity to connect with others online in an attempt to find their other half. Nadine Aburas was a well-to-do 28-year-old bachelorette who didn't deserve the end that she had met. But what kind of person could take the life of an innocent girl such as this one? In this video, we examine a case with a swindler who came online before Tinder, his lack of sincerity to himself and towards women that he had met online, and the unfortunate fate that the target of his affection had to meet. Welcome back to Dark Narratives. On this channel, we go over a lot of true crime and dark stories. If this piques your interest, please consider subscribing and liking this video to make sure it gets discovered. Today, we give a long rundown on the sad story of Nadin Aburas and Sammy Almahri. Without further ado, let us begin. In today's story, we'll be going to Cardiff, the capital city of Wales in the United Kingdom. Cardiff is a vibrant and culturally rich city that offers a unique blend of history, modernity, and natural beauty. As the capital city of Wales in the United Kingdom, Cardiff boasts stunning architecture, including the iconic Cardiff Castle and the impressive Millennium Stadium. Visitors can explore the city's rich history through its numerous museums and historical sites, or enjoy the bustling atmosphere of its vibrant shopping districts and lively nightlife. Additionally, Cardiff is surrounded by beautiful parks and green spaces, providing ample opportunities for outdoor activities and relaxation. Whether you're interested in history, culture, or simply enjoying a scenic stroll, Cardiff has something to offer for every visitor. In this city, we find the Aburas family, with mom Andrea Aburas, youngest daughter Anissa Aburas, youngest son Ayman Aburas, oldest son Jamal Aburas, and last but certainly not least, eldest daughter Nadine Aburas. Nadine, being the eldest daughter of the family, was an aspiring architect and artist, motivated by the prospects of being able to sell hand-drawn art. She was also known for her optimistic and positive attitude in even the most dire of circumstances. She had married at the age of 21, but for unknown reasons later divorced the man that she had married. Nadine's mother acted as a matchmaker for men who wanted to meet Nadine, essentially doing all of the hard work in setting up Nadine's profile on a Muslim-dominated dating site called muslimmatch.com. Online dating offers individuals the opportunity to expand their social circle and meet potential partners outside of their immediate environment, providing a convenient and efficient way to connect with like-minded individuals. MuslimMatch.com was an online dating platform specifically designed for Muslims seeking meaningful relationships. With a focus on Islamic values and traditions, the platform was geared to provide a safe and inclusive space for Muslims to connect with their ideal partners. Mid-2012 was not the era when photo filters were widely used on social media. Nadine, without any kind of fancy photo-altering tools while wearing her hijab, was very popular on that dating website. After a few exchanges with prospective men on MuslimMatch.com, Nadine happened to make the acquaintance of Sammy Almahri, a 42-year-old Tanzanian American living in New York City. Sammy found Nadine on this website. In his profile info, he had photos and claims to fortune giving him a net worth of millions of dollars, and that he was employed as an FBI agent. But why would a millionaire continue their employment as an FBI agent? We'll come back to this topic a little bit later. At the age of 42, Sammy clearly had experience with women and knew how to talk to them. In the beginning, when he first spoke with Nadine, he intentionally downplayed the level of importance that Nadine had to him, stating that he only wanted to be friends with her, all the while posting photos to his profile of properties he claimed to own in America as well as Tanzania. He also flaunted owning a car dealership. He knew how to manipulate Nadine's heartstrings while simultaneously not trying too hard to grab her attention. After enough time, Sammy had managed to sway Nadine into entering an online relationship with him. One thing led to another. The pair exchanged WhatsApp and Skype, as those were the two popular applications to use at the time. However, Sammy was also aware that he could not simply appear as a pristine, wealthy, and flawless middle-aged man. He was well aware that he would need to reveal some flaws to give Nadine something to grasp onto that would make her desire to be with him even more. Very boldly, Sammy stated that he was an alcoholic and was attending Alcoholics Anonymous classes to quit drinking for his future relationship with Nadine. Nadine stated that he would need to quit drinking if he wanted to be her husband, and they agreed to make their relationship progress further. From the outside, it would appear that this was a couple that was making sacrifices for each other and aiming to do well for one another. But as they say, appearances can be deceiving. 1 year after meeting online, in 2013, Sammy Almahri flew to the United Kingdom to meet Nadine and her family. Nadine was, in a manner of speaking, head over heels in love with Sammy. However, when Sammy met with the immediate family of Nadine, the vibes in the room were not fully accepting, but not negative enough for the family to fully disapprove of Sammy. Initially, they thought that perhaps, just perhaps, he was the quiet and nervous kind of guy, but he also didn't have the common courtesy to make eye contact with Ayman, Anissa, or Andreas Aburas, the respective brother, sister, and mother of Nadine. Nevertheless, the relationship between Nadine and Sammy continued. Sammy returned to the USA for his work. Nadine had no problems with calling Sammy in front of her best friends or relatives to demonstrate how comfortable she was with him in her life as well as share affection. He sent her money to buy a car and pampered and showered her with gifts to win her over. However, at this stage in the relationship, Sammy would state that he had many personal tragedies in the USA. Someone in his family would regularly be visiting the hospital with increasingly dangerous medical problems. Or he would state that someone held him up at gunpoint to attempt an armed robbery and steal all of the cash and valuables he had on his person at the time. Of course, if you are a good significant other and you hear about these things happening, you do naturally tend to worry about what happened to your potential future spouse. However, each of these statements was nothing more than an embellishment that was meant to garner sympathy or attention from Nadine to Sammy, and Sammy was slowly becoming a control freak. Finally, after a few months had gone by, in 2013, Nadine found an opportunity to fly from the United Kingdom to New York City to look at houses and build a future together with her beloved Sammy. And that is where the nightmare began and never ended. The lifestyle that Sammy had presented to Nadine was completely embellished. Sammy worked as a limousine driver and also worked part-time at a local supermarket in New York City. Upon Nadine's arrival, Sammy took her into the basement of the housing unit that he lived in and forced her to stay there. All electronic devices were then stolen from Nadine by Sammy to cut off contact from her family. Non-consensual sexual activity was, at the very least, attempted by Sammy against Nadine. But what on earth could cause Sammy the desire to do something like this? Imagine that the person who says they want to be your other half suddenly turned into someone completely and utterly demonic and treated you as though you were less than human, but moreover wanted absolutely, positively no less than 100% control over you, as well as who you talk to and where you go. This pattern of behavior, while both unusual and abominable, is not entirely 100% unheard of. Men, and sometimes women, who desire disproportionate control in their relationships usually wait until a particular milestone is achieved in a relationship to assert such dominance. In the case of Sammy, simply put, he decided that this time would be when he could lure Nadine to a faraway place from her family and friends to make a move that would allow him to, arguably, seize control of every single aspect of Nadine's life. Nadine had returned to the UK after Sammy had brutalized her. She had resolved that she was 100% finished with Sammy and they would have nothing to do with each other ever again. Friends stated that Nadine had returned to her hometown of Cardiff with a bruised eye and a swollen lip. Some people state that she had tried to report to the local authorities that she was forced into intercourse with Sammy. However, specific details of this encounter were never recovered, including whether or not DNA evidence could be collected. Additionally, an overwhelming sense of doubt within Nadine caused her to drop pursuing him criminally. This would, after all, be complicated by the fact that Sammy was in New York and Nadine was in the UK, thousands of miles of ocean, and the constitutions of two different nations could definitely hinder criminal prosecution, and if Sammy wasn't convicted, it would shame her more in the eyes of the Muslim community. During her frightening stay in Sammy's residence, Sammy installed spyware to both Nadine's laptop and her smartphone at the same time, which enabled him to monitor every keystroke she made on both her mobile device and her mobile computer. Even more scarier is the fact that the spyware installed to her phone enabled Sammy to view either of the camera ports on her phone and take photos of her or see what she could see whenever he chose to. Whether or not Nadine was aware that her devices had spyware installed is unknown to this day, but it is also a moot point. Sammy was able to obtain indecent images of Nadine when she was simply in the bathroom after finishing a shower and threatened Nadine, stating that if she didn't do what he told her to do, he would send the photos to her friends and family. It is not illogical to assume that, but also not explicitly reported that Sammy would or would not drink during this time frame. Over the course of months, dozens if not hundreds of abusive, threatening messages would be sent from Sammy to Nadine. There would be a somewhat clear pattern whenever these messages would be sent. If Nadine was in the presence of a male non-family member, or if Nadine was going somewhere Sammy did not like, or speaking of Sammy in a way that he did not approve of, then Sammy would go absolutely ballistic, with toxic messages and threats being sent to Nadine. Somehow, during all of this, Nadine managed to find another suitable man to meet with, named Daniel. While we don't know exactly the words that were being exchanged between Nadine and Sammy, it seems feasible that perhaps, just perhaps, Nadine was becoming numb to the death threats and blackmail after about a year of tolerating this immature and toxic behavior from the 42-year-old turned 44-year-old Sammy. However, just as Nadine was ignoring all attempts by Sammy to force her to do his bidding, Sammy purchased plane tickets and was determined to fly to Nadine's hometown of Cardiff yet again to see if he could somehow, in a very creepy way, win her back or end this extremely delusional idea of a relationship. Nonetheless, Sammy texted Nadine to tell her that he would make an unpleasant surprise visit to the UK. At this point in time, it would be a good idea for us to take a moment to examine the situation from Nadine's perspective. Red flags are, of course, red flags, but somehow Nadine thought this would be a good way to end their relationship because she believed that she was a reasonable person and could help him come to reason with himself. Nadine also bravely believed that she would be just fine. After all, she was in the UK, her family was nearby her, and it is, of course, viable that they, along with her, would be able to assert more control over Sammy than Sammy could assert over Nadine. This decision was certainly far safer than the circumstances under which Nadine flew to New York to visit Sammy Almahri, and under the right circumstances, maybe, just maybe, the situation could have been resolved amicably between both parties. After about 2 days of talking, the content of which was not entirely clear, Sammy Almahri found his way into the flat of Nadine all alone. During this time frame, Nadine was accompanied by the eldest son of the family, Jamal, but was not at the flat. The youngest brother, Ayman, found his way to the flat to pick up his postage, but unexpectedly encountered Sammy all alone in his sister's flat. A small fight ensued, but not long after that, Jamal and Nadine both arrived and confronted Sammy, who was frenzied, angry, and likely panicked. He could do no harm and assert no control over Nadine in the presence of her brothers. Jamal and Ayman forced Sammy to listen to Nadine openly state that she no longer wanted any part of Sammy's life. At that point, the eldest brother Jamal then took Sammy to the train station and dropped him off with his luggage. Unfortunately, in their heated scuffle and exchange, Sammy left his passport and cell phone in the flat of Nadine. Sammy checked into a hotel near the train station, possibly using an international driver's license or other form of internationally recognized ID. He then asked the hotel receptionist to dial Nadine's cell phone number, where he used an appeal to authority to have Nadine bring his passport to the hotel. After all, he would very well not be able to leave the UK without his passport. Perhaps the smartest thing Nadine could do at this point was simply leave the passport and the cell phone at the front desk of the hotel where Sammy was staying. But, quite sadly, she did not. Nadine walked to room 203 of the future inn where Sammy was staying. Together they walked out for the evening, got a late-night dinner where Nadine used to work within eyesight of people who could recognize her and place her at a time and place. They also noticed Sammy, and everyone who saw him there said that something was off-putting about his demeanor and presence for the evening while he was intoxicated. For reasons still unknown to this day, perhaps seeing threats from Sammy manifested in a face she could see with her own two eyes instead of just seeing it in a text message or voice message format on her phone. These things might have frightened her just enough to go with Sammy back to his room or listen to any command that he had given her. She accompanied Sammy back to that hotel room and was never seen again. At 1 a.m. on New Year's Day, less than an hour after entering the room with Nadine, Sammy left the hotel room and went to the hotel bar to drink some more, then went to the casino where he gambled £10,000. After this, while intoxicated, he drove Nadine's sedan to the Heathrow International Airport and booked a flight for Qatar. Nadine's body was discovered in the hotel room by cleaning staff nearly 24 hours later. He was in possession of Nadine's cell phone, and while he was in Qatar, he was texting Nadine's family, telling them toxic things like he couldn't have harmed Nadine and that it must have been one of her two brothers who put her in the predicament that she was in instead. It was later discovered that he had purchased a plane ticket to Tanzania, where it was known that he owned real estate. Authorities in the UK, naming him as a prime suspect, called him frequently, asking him where he was, if he was willing to go to the police station for questioning, what happened to Nadine, and other similar questions, only to be met with taunting and berating from Sammy. On January 20th, 2015, after collaborating with Tanzanian authorities to coordinate the arrest and extradition of Sammy Almahri, as well as some slightly complicated police logistics, Sammy Almahri was arrested while attempting to cross the border from Tanzania into a neighboring country. Police escorted him back to the UK, where he was imprisoned while awaiting for his trial, which began on October 19th of 2016. However, one day after the official trial proceedings began, perhaps after seeing the mountains of evidence, seeing the mundane courtroom atmosphere, and realizing the hopelessness of trying to be absolved of his crimes, Sammy Almahri opted to plead guilty on the second day of the trial on October 20th, 2016. At the age of 44, he must serve a mandatory 17 years before he is eligible for release, putting him at the age of 61 in the year 2033. Earlier in this video, it was stated that Sammy posted to his profile on Muslim Match stating that he was a millionaire and that he was an FBI agent. This kind of profile, while not impossible, just seems a little bit far-fetched. If one were a millionaire, why would he or she need to work? It seemed as though Sammy played his cards in such a way that made his claims make sense, but this is where one needs to take a moment to step back, examine the situation of the person they are talking to, and ask themselves, does this sound real? There are the occasional rocket scientists who go to work on Wall Street, but the other bizarre nonsensical combinations involve Mossad agents whose fathers are billionaire diamond miners, or valley girls who like death metal, and I'm sure there are many other examples you could think of if you simply let your imagination go wild.
Justice has been done for Nadine. The right verdict has been returned. We wish to thank everybody who has assisted us throughout this tragic period in our lives. I ask now that we were given the time to grieve and remember our beautiful girl. I will give a full statement after sentence.
With that, we conclude the tragically terrifying romantic prospects of Nadine Aburas. Do you have any creepy stories that you would like covered? Tell us about them or share yours in the comments below. If you liked today's video, then please consider subscribing and checking out my other content in the link tree below this video. As always, remember that every day is a new opportunity to see the light, and until next time, I bid you all farewell.